Yo, welcome back to my podcast. Today, the second part of the Vilkku recording. If you haven't listened to last week's episode, make sure to do that before you listen to this one, because a lot of things we discussed in the last episode are related to what we discussed in this episode. As I said last week, we had a more open discussion about it, like we both gave our input on our speedrun journey, how we think about things, how important mindset and all of that is, and how to deal with it. So if you are a speedrunner yourself and you're struggling with those things, this is like the input you need to hopefully find a new approach to your own speedrun journey. Hope you will enjoy the episode and now have fun with the podcast. That's why, like, I think some streamers are sometimes, like, just shutting off chat or like...
Yeah.
I see a lot of people who just turn everything off on their second monitor and like just focus on the final part of the run for the sake of getting a good run.
I haven't done it, but the only thing which I sometimes have done, like if I'm on a voice call with my friends or something, like I go on double mute, like I don't want to hear any external like distractions or whatever. Sometimes I even like am I playing music on the run, like I have a quick key, like pause the music or something like that.
Okay, yeah.
But when I actually want to like super try hard, like especially when it's a bit shorter run, like I go for like offline runs or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, and Celeste, for example, I like, because I when I stream, I want to talk a lot, and Celeste at a certain point, I feel like it couldn't PB anymore when I'm talking. Like it's like so difficult to play the entire run good that I just decided to do offline runs, and then I did a lot of good runs. And also, what I like to do sometimes is just hiding my timer, because the more I focus on the time, the more my brain gets distracted. And when the funniest thing is when I hide my timer is how often I look at the timer. In so many parts of the runs, like on a certain screen transition or on a certain cutscene, whatever, I just look at the timer for 1 split second to see how good my run is. And so often I looked at a blank monitor basically, and I was like, shit, I do really look so often at my timer.
Specific spots on different splits, like I should be here at this time and whatever. But yeah. Like when you experience time loss, like you can judge like how badly or how poorly you're playing it after like you execute wrongly or whatever. But like when you see the time loss on the second screen or whatever, I was like, oh damn. I think like, you can judge it from yourself. If you like feel like you're playing well, then probably the time is okay.
But the most important, I think the most important thing about this is it shows, like, once again how how mindset or approach oriented all this can be, because we look at the time and we pay so much attention to our potential time loss. I think for the most part, it would just be nicer if people just kept playing and don't care about the time loss, because you can still, do something good. You can still gold split on the next split, for example. You can, like, obviously we want to play perfect, but just because we want to play perfect, we shouldn't, measure every mistake. Yeah.
Like, especially, but it's, of course, there's like different scenarios, because shorter runs are, of course, different. And if you're like going for like a vertigo or something, like it's going to be a different scenario. Like, of course, it's very good, like if you would keep it going after even it's a medium-sized mistake or whatever, and you get a lot of time loss. It's not as worth to keep going, especially if you feel like you're playing well and this was just a dumb mistake or whatever.
I think there's like two things, or like we should separate from like watching a mistake during a run and after the run, because I think like you should always look for mistakes after the run. Like I rarely ever analyze my PBs, but whenever I did, I feel like I understood my mistakes a lot better. But when you look at your mistakes like during the run, you're like, I think for the most time it's like a waste of attention. Especially like
you lose a lot of energy.
If you're already at a good pace and you like make a mistake in the last section and you just look at the timer to see how much you lost, you probably will end up losing more. And because of that, it's like a never-ending cycle. Yeah, it's like very difficult to not look at the timer, but it's like for the most part I would recommend it personally.
By the way, do you like undervalue or overvalue your time loss when you're like sort of calculating how much you lost time from that mistake?
I think for the most time I'm like, when I say, I lost here like 2 seconds, 5 seconds, whatever. Yeah. I think for the most time I'm like always like 50% higher than the actual time loss.
Yeah. I know one guy in GTA 5 who like undervalues his like mistakes or whatever. I lost a couple of frames there. Yeah, it's very fun.
Yeah, no, I mean I noticed that the most when I actually rewatched some of my runs. I feel like I would have personally said, I lost there like 3-4 seconds. Then I rewatched it, it was like only like 0.5 or whatever. It's like, you see, and then you just think or like try to calculate the time loss. It's like, why you're trying currently to do a speed run? Why do you focus on what you have done already if you don't want to, like, you just focus on what's in front of
just
you?
Just concentrate on the future or whatever. Like, what is the task that you have to do next or whatever? Like, yeah, everybody just wants to get a perfect run or whatever. Like, no time loss, no big time loss anywhere. Like, it's just a fucking good run. Like, it's hard.
Like, it's super hard. Like, there are very little, like, true perfect runs, like, out there of any speed game. Like, most like if you have a run and you have a task bot about that run, you will see like the perfect run for a human being is like for most cases like impossible, like literally impossible. So we shouldn't focus like too much about that and just focus on what we are capable of.
Yeah, because the execution and everything. But like of course in some categories in GTA speedrunning as well, in like San Andreas there's 80% is resets. Like it's like not much improvable. Like it's you could almost call it like Codier run or whatever. Like nobody has even come close to that. So yeah, I don't know. Some categories have like very good runs, which are like way more harder to improve upon. But yeah, I see what you're saying.
One thing you also mentioned in your email is like we talked a lot about like different stuff. I'm like I don't even know if like we have a good. I hope you all enjoy our talk.
Of course.
But yeah, you said in your email you want to talk about like speedrunning communities.
Yes.
I don't remember what your exact phrasing was.
It was like about the difference between like GTA 5 speedrunning community and Watch Dogs speedrunning community, because like the community was basically me in Watch Dogs because I had to do everything solo, and like the importance of having one, like how much it sometimes could help you because there's like researchers and other people who could test stuff like for you, like other timings, other perspectives and stuff like that. Like it's sort of so much harder to see all of the stuff take it into account when you're like pondering upon a new strats or whatever when you're doing it solo. About the strat finding, like when it's like more open community or whatever, like a lot of active members, a lot of like good speedrunners, and they get like good times. So like it's always fun where you have more heads like collided towards each other, because like making new stuff up is easier with other people.
Yeah, I mean, we already said it in the earlier part. It's kind of funny that we already mentioned, like, basically most important stuff, to be honest, because I just want to talk about it. But yeah, having a community, like, I see a lot of, or like, I hear from a lot of people, or I can imagine a lot of people having problems, you know, getting into community. It's like, it can be kind of hard. I do agree, especially because, like, most of us are kind of introvert, I want to say. Like, I mean, most speedrunners are just people who sit a lot of at home and play their video games. Like, social interaction is like very. We have social interaction, very low skilled. So
have you noticed, by the way, during the quarantine, like a lot of new speedrunners have been coming up because they have more time to play video games or whatever.
That's true. A lot of people have like time to just, you know, speed run or to grind out a certain game or competitively. It's like kind of cool. But yeah, it's like kind of fortunate. I also would say like quarantine is like pushing like YouTube and Twitch, especially Twitch, I think, a lot further. I see a lot of channels like who are already big are now a lot bigger just because of people are more at home and abuse the internet.
Yeah, I grinded for Watch Dogs Battle Vertigo as well during the early parts of quarantine. Like, I think it was March probably. So yeah, took like only 2-3 days when I got it. But yeah, I think the Vertigo wasn't that good. But it was very fun.
Yeah, and man, I wanted to say something about speedrunning communities, but I forgot it. I feel bad for it. Maybe I don't know if you can like tell about this, but I've heard from other people's, like, especially in the older days of speedrunning, that like they had like bad experiences in speedrunning communities because like you know,
because there's no like closed off, like it's so hard to like
sometimes it's closed off or sometimes like there are a few toxic people, like it's a gaming community.
I have experience of that.
It's not as bad as like any like AAA, or I wouldn't call it a AAA game, but as any popular game, aka League of Legends, CSGO, whatever. Yes. All these games have like very, very toxic communities. Speedrunning is far away from that. Speedrunning is more known for a positive, like helpful.
Helping each other.
community, but there are still toxic people. So maybe you can talk about your experience and how to deal with it, because I feel like I know some people who, just because they met the wrong people in the beginning, they stopped speedrunning or they nearly quit speedrunning, and it's like, it's not cool. It's not cool.
Yeah, it's not cool at all, and I don't like toxic people, of course, that's obvious, but like I have some experience because like in GTA 5 speedrun Discord, as I already told a little bit, like there's a couple of bad people in there, like who like don't want to, like they're wasting other people's time by just like useless strats coming up or whatever, and like they just even don't want to get better, like just fucking bully each other. Like it's not very fun at all, and like we of course like that. I mean, the moderators try to moderate the server or whatever. And but like I have experienced some in chat as well, but not that much because it's not very often when toxic people come into my chat. But like they start like, you're bad to speedrun or whatever, and yeah, it's not very fun at all. But yeah,
it's sometimes like we speedrunners even have to deal like with people outside from the community. Like all the big speedrunners like sometimes post on Twitter like screenshots of like, hey, today somebody like who never watched the speedrun said, oh, you wasted your time and your life just to get a sub 5 in that game. What the idiot, you fucking nerd. And like it's like so stupid. Like and like those people who write these comments are like the people who either like spend 10 hours per day on Netflix and call it their life, or it's like it's a hobby. It's like a very time-intensive hobby, but because of that, you can get a lot out of it.
Yeah, gamers can be a lot of like more toxic than regular people as well, because like they go too far in many other subjects. Like there's just some that said even death threats or whatever. Like that's horrible. Like because like some are like too obsessed about hating other people. So it's kind of whatever. But sometimes some toxic people can be turned into like, wouldn't call them regular people, but like more acceptable people, and they can just learn like what they're doing, because they don't like, they're tunnel visioning, so they don't actually even know like how much harm they're causing to themselves and to others. Like you can turn them into a more reasonable person, would say. Also, just educate them or whatever.
That's like I said that in another episode where we were talking about world record culture and why it's like so toxic sometimes. That if you like, sometimes Twitch chat or like people like the general audience, not any individual, but the general audience is just so toxic or pushing someone so far that but they don't know it better. So we need people need to be more open and say, hey, that what you're doing right now is not cool, please stop doing that. And I think 90% of the people or more probably will learn from it, and the rest will hopefully gone at this point, and it's like not worth to be in the community, because it's like the truth that not every human being is like the nicest.
I feel like the bigger speedrunners, they get like probably more of the sort of hate or whatever.
I just in that episode I just talked about, there was like, at the time there was I don't know if you know that much about other speedruns, but there was this Wind Waker got a new glitch, and it made the run sub 1 hourable, and like two runners, Linkus and Demon, were like trying to go for it, and these two are like good friends, but the Twitch chat was like kind of pushing it to be a rivalry and a race for world record, and they were like kind of aggressing on each other sometimes, and like the streamers themselves said, they are not bothered too much by it, but they are super bothered when they say, oh, Demon just got this good run, or oh, Linkus is on this pace. Like, hey, if you want to watch their stream, go on their stream, but don't talk too much about that in my stream, because it's like annoying. And I think that's like, I'm fortunate enough to not be a big streamer yet to experience that, but I think like those things are the things that bother the big streamers. They get like so much attention. There are so many like not so smart people, or like people who don't get the spirit of a community.
That's, I feel like they sometimes attract more like degenerates or whatever. You get a lot of like toxic people in there, but as well it's like communities colliding sometimes, like causing fake drama or whatever. So it's not cool. But I could actually talk a bit more about like live streaming or whatever. Like like sometimes like the chat can be a lot of like fun, because they like help you to keep the run going. Like even though you get some time, it's fine, just keep going. You can get a personal best or whatever, can still learn a lot. Or sometimes they can just like flame you, like, why did you even make that mistake? Like, so dumb, just reset already or something.
Yeah, in my community is like very nice. Like they try to be positive to me. Like whenever I feel stressed, it's like very cool, and I love to talk. Like it's nice to have like people to talk to in the downtime. But it's like overall, like streaming and speedrunning, combining two, I want to say, difficult things together can be very stressful sometimes. I kind of agree. Like sure. when I do offline runs, it's like a lot nicer, and when I do practice offline, it's like a lot easier to play good.
Do you feel like pressure to perform in front of an audience, or like even your live streaming?
To be honest, I don't think I actively, feel it. Like I don't actively feel pressured, but passively, if that makes any sense. And I just noticed that I actually just noticed this recently because I yesterday I streamed, for example, Hollow Knight, and my goal was to get like a sub 150 because it's like totally doable with my skill, but I just need to not die. And because I, died sometimes here or didn't perform that specific skip, I like got upset because I personally, want to get this run also to show it off to people. I personally,
of course.
I want something to stream that's exciting enough for, people to join and people to hang out with. People get excited about if you're on a good run. And the longer you are on a good run, the more people, want to join, want to see you succeeding. So I think that's
on that one because like
that's what I mean by I feel forced to, perform. And if I don't perform, I get upset and I rage. And it's like super hard to not rage because, I don't think anybody is like actually, disappointed in you, but you're disappointed in yourself that you couldn't perform the run for the people who are watching you.
Yeah, I sort of feel the same because like when you experience time loss, like a lot of people like of course, well, they try to help you or whatever, but in yourself, like if this would have been actually a good run, like a lot of more people would see me like I mean, it's some part of like ego as well, but like they would like know that I'm playing well or whatever. Like if you have a lot of like potential times or whatever, it doesn't mean almost anything except to yourself. That maybe one day you can make this because if you just try to talk to each other, like other speedrunners or other people in the chat, like, oh yeah, I could save a lot of time here, but if you don't do it, then it doesn't like mean that much. Like even though you have a lot of potential for like time save or PB or whatever.
Yeah, I also think like in speedrunning to the current point, when it comes down to streaming, is a lot of the really popular streamers are also really good at their games. Let's be honest. People want to see the good people. If you're just a world record holder of a good popular game, you don't need to actually have a very qualitative stream and there are still people who watch you because they want to see like high skill. And I think that's like also why some streamers, people who want to stream feel pressure to, become actually good. And I think that's also a mindset thing because if you want to become good at speedrunning, do it for yourself and because you love the game, and don't do it because streaming can be a job, but I think when you want to be a speedrun streamer and you want to become very good for your stream, do it because of passion and not because of streaming. Because I think like if you do it that way, I think you will burn out eventually. Like maybe after 1 month, after 2 months, after half a year, but you will burn out and you will like feel like dead inside after some time.
But I sometimes like offline running as well. Like live streaming is of course good, and people help you and are in the chat, of course, chilling. But like offline running is a like different environment sometimes because like you can just do stuff on your own self. Like sometimes you like perform better like when you're playing offline, but sometimes it's like sort of hard to keep going because you're by yourself, and sometimes you can just like lie to yourself like I need to reset this or whatever because
streaming can be a good motivation in that sense. Like to be honest, most like if I notice it even when I do like just casual playthroughs of games on stream, I finish so much more games that I started on stream because I want to finish them on stream because people saw me on my journey. I can't just say I want to stop at the middle of a game. But if I do play through a game on my own at home, I like stop playing certain games. Like I didn't finish that many games in my entire life. Let's be honest.
Yeah. Which story games do you like usually? Like, have you streamed which games recently? Like story games.
for example, like Hollow Knight, before I started to speedrun it, I played through it on stream. I played through Shovel Knight and some other indie games before on stream before I tried to speedrun them. And but when I can tell you that much, when I played most of those games like on my own at home, I probably would have maybe enjoyed it for some time, but then I would have eventually stopped. Like, to be honest, not with Hollow Knight, because Hollow Knight is like a game I really, really enjoyed. But I feel like if I eventually become like a full-time streamer, just like what I'm aiming for, and nice. If I have a casual game every now and then going, I think my casual game completionism would I would complete much more casual games, like,
it's
because
the worst, but like it's good to keep the core audience, of course, there. But like I feel like offline running, if you're like, especially if you're a bit more attentive to be emotional or whatever, like it could be sometimes good to go for offline runs. At least, like, I feel like doing like practice offline is better. Like of course you could like show or like prove to others that you're practicing or whatever, but like it's normally done offline. And
but that there again, like, comes my when I stream something, I want to take people on a journey, because I think streaming and all of this becomes a lot better if you look at it like in a longer period of time. And that's why I feel sometimes, so bad for making offline runs. Like, what if I PB offline? Like, people weren't there live, and when they are there live, it's, much more exciting for them, much more exciting for me, so much more emotions, and, a lot of positive vibing is coming out the moment you get it, and it's like a great moment. And like my recent Celeste PB, for example, happened offline, and I was like, okay, now I need to, eventually restream it and talk to people, and like it takes so much hype away. And I think this comes down to like also this like passively pushing. Like you feel forced to stream.
Different people are different, because like they want to like, some people want to like show to others, like feel the excitement or whatever getting PB on stream or whatever. But some people just like want to get improvement and like upload the fucking PB to like speedrun.com and like not tell that many people if they have gotten a new PB or whatever. And I don't know, it's like very different when people like how they like tend to
I think it comes, as always, down to how you look at it personally. Like everything in life is like very personally, like so many people work differently. When you try to learn something and it works out very slow for you, but someone else learns it in like an hour or two, then you need to not care about it, because like the person has different experience in their life, so they will learn it in a different way than you do.
Yes.
But like I think that's the last topic we can talk about before we close it up. We compare each other so much, in especially speedrunning, that it's like it harms us more than it actually does good for us.
Yeah, it's always a personal journey. Or like I have one more thing about the live stream or whatever. Like showing your weakness is like very good and very healthy for you, because like you know that you're not on top of your game right now, and like you need to practice some certain things which you're like failing at consistently or whatever. Like it's good that sometimes you live stream and like sometimes make mistakes, so like you can show to other people like, I'm still a human, like I can improve this, and I'm not all the way there, and like keep it like real or whatever.
That real is the good word, because I think that's the good thing about live streaming compared to YouTube, for example. If you live stream and you make a mistake, like everybody's going to see it, and most people are going to see the real person of you. But if you try to make a YouTube video, you cut everything out till it's like a good video for you, and you're more of a person who express something instead of expressing your personality, if that makes sense.
And usually like offline runs are most like no mic, no cam, just try hard runs.
You feel much more focused on yourself and your run.
Of course.
Sometimes that's actually when I did offline runs before my internet died. I actually, it weren't through offline runs. I just streamed on a second channel, posted in my Discord, and said, "Hey,
easier.
No mic, no chat." Maybe sometimes I peek into chat after a run or whatever, but I just stream it so people who are interested in it can see it.
It's actually better. Like I sometimes like live stream to YouTube privately, because like because it's sometimes a bit more taxing when you have to upload it, because you can just live stream it and privately or like second channel or whatever.
Streaming and then uploading it makes it so much smoother and nicer.
Yeah.
But yeah, the thing we just said, comparing and speedrunning is like, it looks like the most obvious thing to do, but I think you should only compare yourself to others when you do it objectively.
Yes, and like sometimes it can get like very negative, like, oh yeah, I'm this much faster than you here, like this is not even a good time in this mission or whatever, like you can get more time saved right here, and like I played this section a lot better than you or whatever. Like sometimes like people are on different paths of like the speedrun or whatever, like they're not all the way there yet, and other people, or like some people can be even slower than you, and they're like, oh, you did this that fast or whatever. Like you shouldn't compare to like others that much. Like you can like, of course, like, did you say like objectively is good or not good?
Yeah,
it shouldn't be good.
I think you should like take away the personal aspect of it. Like if you compare yourself and your other runner, you should maybe look at it like, oh, he is saving that much time there. Why? And not like, oh, he is better than me. Like I just suck. Yeah. Like that's the wrong approach, obviously. And I don't think like when people actually look for other runs, they do that actively. But sometimes when you compare yourself to others, it's like you think sometimes just in your unconscious mind that, oh shit, why am I not so good at this section? And it's like
sometimes you get like I'm way faster than here, but it's not very good. Like you just like friendly towards them and try to help them or whatever. But like I think community goals is a good like way to objectively compare your time against other people, or like what is a normal time here for a very good runner or whatever. So
yeah. Sometimes like when I watched, for example, runs that were faster than me just to get an idea of new strats, I most of the times I just message those people, those really good runners, and like it's kind of funny how in the Celeste community I'm like not a good friend with like the people around my time, or like so I'm a good friend with some of them, but not that many. But I'm like, you know, I've talked a lot to all the really, really good runners, and I know a lot more about them. Just because, you know, I messaged them so much about, hey, what is this thread you're doing here? Like, how does this work out? And I think, don't be shy in the speedrunning community. To most people, you can just, you know, DM them and ask them what they're doing there and how it works. And 99% of the people will tell you how to do it because,
you know, unless you're obnoxious or whatever.
Yeah, it's like, as we said earlier, the speedrun community in general is like very open, very helpful, and always wanna, you know, it's like when I speedrun and stream it, and I see a new person I've never seen, and they said, hey, I just started speedrunning this game. You know, it's like fucking awesome when you hear, oh, somebody is all of a sudden as well speedrunning the game I speedrun. It's like cool to see so many new people still joining each and every speed game. It's like fucking awesome.
We have a joke like so that in the GTA5 speedrun Discord server, we have a role or request server where like people can get the verified role, like their run has got to be verified on speedrun.com, and then like always, like I don't know if they're jokingly or like it's just has become a meme, like hi, I'm new to speedrunning and I've been watching a certain ex YouTuber or ex streamer who's like very big about GTA5 speedrunning, or like this sort of like appeal to the normies, and like the normies want to try speedrunning or whatever. But it's cool. But like we just sometimes make fun of them, like sort of as an inner circle or whatever. But yeah, I don't know.
Man, yeah, that's cool. That's cool. Yeah, we don't have that in the games I do speedrun, but I'm all like when I see new people, I'm personally just, you know, always welcoming. Sometimes
always friendly.
Yeah, I one thing I saw on Twitter recently, which felt very cool for me is, you know, when I started out speedrunning, I was so happy. Like on my first day of streaming Celeste speedruns, I practiced the game before that like for 10 hours or whatever. One of my like currently most loyal fan, I want to say, is like still watching me till today, and he was like helping me out so much, and I felt like very happy to have like a good friend of mine in the speedrunning scene who was helping me and who was way ahead of me. He's still like better than me, but back then he was like obviously a lot better. And then I saw
always be like that.
Yeah, like, back then
faster speedrunner can help like not as experienced players.
That's exactly what I want to say. But because I saw a tweet not very recently, that says, remember when you started to speedrun and you were so happy when a top runner turned into your stream? Like, and now you are yourself a top runner and be the person who joins into other streams. Like you can just because you joined into another stream, people recognize you and you can help them out. you're going to be like the fucking best viewer for them for that moment.
Yeah. I remember like 1 year ago when I just started speedrunning and the vertical holder gave me too much. I was like, oh my god, this is so insane.
Yeah, same. I was like, oh shit, TGH is here. Like,
I almost started crying.
I got all of a sudden nervous, and I was like, I don't know, because especially when it's those people who are basically the reason or a good reason why you started speedrunning, you learn from them, and they are now watching you. Maybe they're not even like actively watching you. Sometimes when you watch in a stream, you just lurk on it. You don't really pay too much attention to it. Yeah. But for yourself as a streamer, you're like, shit, he's watching me now. I need to play good or whatever. It's like
I had a lot of pressure when I was very new to speedrunning and very new to live streaming in general. And like the vertical holder guy like just toasted me out. Like, oh my god, like I was about to choke or something.
Yeah.
You always like want to show the best version of yourself, especially to like faster people.
Yeah,
but, like I don't know. I like accountability is one more thing like about like live streaming and the community as well. Like if you have like very close friends about speedrunning the same game or even a different game, like they can hold you like accountable. Like they could help you in a lot of like emotional ways. So that's very good.
Actually, one thing because you just said helping out. Because I was here a little bit too late for this call is because a friend of mine just picked up speedrunning Celeste like a month ago. And I'm like, since I started speedrunning this game, I was like waiting for a person in because I'm in the Smash community and the fighting game community. I have a lot of, gamer friends basically to this point. Like a lot of people know me in my region. I was like waiting for a person who picks up and loves Celeste and tries to speedrun it. And now he finally is here and I will, coach and teach the shit out of him so he becomes a better runner than me or like a good runner as same as I am. Because like, helping and speedrunning are like two things that fit so well together. It's like you
I sort of have a coach as well. Like he's like I see him as a higher or like better speedrunner of GTA 5, and he like always says like, you need to keep going. Like if you actually want to get a good PB, you just fucking go for it. Like don't give up like this early or whatever. Like he always like is sort of like mentoring or like helping.
Yeah, the moral support can help you a lot. Like also advising you. Like sometimes I just ask people like, how do you practice? How did you get so consistent? And seriously, like that. Their answer was like not complex. Like their answer was, I just sit down for 3 to 4 hours and I play this one section over and over and over and over again. And I was like, wait, that's not how it's just done. And then I just did it for like a lot of hours and I got better. And like, it's the most obvious thing, when I look back, it's the most obvious thing, but just someone telling me that it helped me to actually do it. It's like kind of insane. That's like what coaches are there for. I feel like.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah, I think we, I think we talked enough here. I think we got a good episodes. So thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed our talk. This was like a very natural discussion talk. It was very little questions. So thank you for all, and thank you, Vilkku, for being here.
Thanks for being here, and thanks for like I having the opportunity to get on this podcast or whatever. Like I was very pleased to get in here and like just have a discussion with the other person in our speedrun community. Different.
It was really cool. Like I think that rounds it up nice, and see you all in the next week's episode. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
Yeah, wasn't that a long journey through all the Vilkku recordings? Like 2 parts, 1 hour of just talking about speedrunning. Takes really a long time. I hope you all listened to all of it and enjoyed it, because I did enjoy it a lot. Hope you also like the idea to split it up into 2 30-minute episodes. I think it's much more nicer to listen to. If you disagree, like send me a DM on Twitter or on Twitch or on Discord even. All the links are on the podcast. If you say, hey, Flash, I want to listen to 1 hour episodes. If more people say that, then I will upload 1 hour episodes as 1 hour episodes. Besides that, I don't know what to say else. Next week, I will talk with Dave Stereo about Final Fantasy VII Remake. We will record that next week. Hope you are excited for that. If you remember the first Dave Stereo episode, where he talked about the original Final Fantasy VII speedrun, that was like an awesome one. It was one of my favorite to record, and I'm super excited to record one other episode with him. He's an awesome guy. And I think that's all cool now, and see you next week.